OK, we're going to update you with the very latest sport with John in just a moment, but first just want to bring you a little bit more on reports that we're receiving from the Department of Health that 7,000 more women could well have had these faulty PIP breast implants than was originally thought. Originally it was thought 45,000, now it's thought another 7,000 women here in the UK could have had these implants. Let's speak to Kevin Timms, who represents quite a few of the ladies so far who are aware that they have these implants. Mr. Timms, what is the latest on any sort of legal proceedings?
Well, the latest in terms of the legal proceedings is that following the extensive media coverage over Christmas and January, there's another couple of thousand women that have come forward to various different law firms across the country. So essentially what we're trying to do now is take matters forward as essentially one large group. So there's a group litigation order which has been applied for by one firm, which has been approved by the court on the 9th of March, and what we anticipate is that a number of test cases will be taken to court which will decide the rest of the PIP claims for everybody else in the rest of the country.
What sort of support are these women being offered?
Offered from the government or the clinic?
Well, having looked at some of these chat rooms and websites and that sort of thing, quite a lot of women feel that they're slightly being left out on their own and they've been forgotten.
Yes, I mean, that's certainly feedback that we're getting as well. I mean, from the clinic's perspective, there are very few clinics that are actually offering any substantial form of assistance for these women. Those clinics tend to be the clinics where only 100 or 200 women were implanted with these implants, whereas the larger clinics, where possibly thousands of women have been implanted, the assistance isn't very helpful. Women kind of feel that they've been left out on a limb, essentially. The NHS obviously is offering a certain degree of help to women that had their implants in the private sector, but one of the things that I've certainly found is that many women are struggling to get past the GP stage. It seems that the advice that's been given by the Department of Health isn't filtering down the NHS to the front line of where the GPs are dealing with these women on a day-to-day basis. So I think actually GPs need to be informed of exactly what parameters they're allowed to extend the help the NHS can offer to these women.
What about individual surgeons who are in the private sector? Do you get the impression that they are willing to carry out this surgery if it's needed?
I think the surgeons are largely on the basis that they want to protect the interests of their patients. The issue is, though, it's a matter of cost, and obviously our perspective is it's the implant providers that are responsible for reimbursing these women and covering any additional cost for revision surgery. So it's although the surgeons might be doing whatever they can, it ultimately comes down to a matter of funding, which is something that the clinics aren't willing to cough up for at the moment.
Surprise, 7,000 more women?
Not in the slightest, no. I mean, I think the figures have always been slightly relaxed in any event, as with the data that certainly the government's relying on at the moment as well. The rupture rates are grossly underestimated, in my opinion, and certainly there's the other issues such as silicone perspiration that just aren't being taken into account with the statistics.
So even more women are going to be anxious at this news this afternoon, watching us on the telly. What should they do?
Well, I think anybody that is anxious should certainly contact either their implanting surgeon or their GP as a first protocol, because medical advice is the best advice that they can get at the moment. Obviously, if they're interested in terms of making a claim for compensation, there are a number of solicitors throughout the country who are offering assistance, as is Garden House solicitors, so they should seek advice, but in the first instance they should contact their GP or implanting surgeon.
OK, looks like you're going to be even busier. Thanks very much indeed. Thanks for joining us here on Sky News this afternoon. So 7,000 more women could well have these potentially faulty PIP breast implants and in their bodies. We're just hearing there from one of the solicitors who's representing quite a few of the women who are taking legal action about that. He says contact your GP, contact a lawyer if you need to do that as well. So we'll have the very latest on that. We're going to be taking you to Ground Zero as well. Do stay tuned nowhere.